I had a conversation with someone last night who thought they knew better than me, who was certain that they knew better than me. And every point that I made was countered with, well, that's nice, but that's not what we're doing. Or, yeah, I guess if that's how you want something to happen. And just like dismissing, talking down to, making me feel small, I would say. And that's not the first time that's happened. That's not the first time that I've spoken to someone who is on paper very smart or intelligent or well read. And what I received from them was not smart or intelligent. It's not the first time that I've had a conversation with someone who, on paper, should understand me and what I believe in. And instead, I was basically told I wasn't good enough, or I didn't know enough, or I didn't understand the concepts that we were talking about, or maybe my beliefs lied somewhere else. And I don't think smart is enough anymore. I think I think that if you are merely smart, if you are merely well read, if you are merely someone who has done nothing but studied, that you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And I'm going to stand 10 toes down on that. I am. You can't just be smart. You have to be smart and well lived. You have to be smart and street smart. You have to be smart and conversational. You have to be smart and inquisitive, smart and paying attention to society and humanity, smart and willing to be wrong. And the person I spoke to last night was none of those things. They were just smart. They were just well read. They were just really good at pulling a fact out of their ass without the consideration of what actually we were talking about or what actually the points I was making were. Which sounds really vague, but in general, it was like me having a conversation about how the state of the world is and how I want things to change and what my ideal concept of that change is. And I don't lead with intelligence. I don't lead with smartness. I lead with kindness. I lead with humanity. I lead with the person. I think that more people should be leading with those things and we would be a lot better off in life. And as I'm explaining that point of view and having those conversations, it just kept getting shut down. I just kept getting told that it didn't matter, or that I didn't understand what they were talking about, or what they were doing, or what their group was about, or why they were doing things the way they were doing. And I just was ill informed, which is really fucking annoying, honestly. It really pisses me off because I might not be the most well studied person. I might not have read every single piece of literature there is to read on the concept of society or physiological things or the way the world turns and blah, 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 whatever. But I am smart. I am well versed in many things because I'm a little bit crazy and I'm a little bit ADHD and I will hyperfixate the shit out of an obsession. And I know things. And not only do I know things, but I purposely keep myself informed in not just the negative direction, not just the physiological or the written direction, not just that, but also in humanity and kindness and the good things that are happening and the changes that are coming around. And this group wasn't doing that. And I critiqued them for it because I'm a bitch that has opinions and I will make them known. And everything I said was just met with a wall. There was no give, there was no understanding. It was basically, well, if you want that to be something, then you have to do it. That's not my problem. That's not my issue. I have no issues with the way things are being done. And I'm like confused and frustrated that these people, that society, that groups of very intelligent human beings are looking around and not using that intelligence and not using that smartness and not using the skills and knowledge that they have because they're choosing more studying or more like-minded people into a little echo chamber where nothing is ever going to grow or change from. And I think that conversation made me zoom out a little bit. It made me realize that that is something that's just wrong with society right now. That so many people are so good at so many things, that so many people are smart in so many different ways, that so many people know so many different things. And yet all of us are getting shit on. All of us are getting told that it's not enough, or that we're not smart enough, or that that's not the way to do it, or we don't know what we're talking about. And it's really awful when it's people from your side of the aisle, when it's people that you think could be a voice for change or hope or reason, and instead are choosing to keep studying their little books. They're not listening. They're not caring. They're not wanting to make a difference or wanting to make a change. They're just completely comfortable exactly where they are. And that comfortability is what has broken us. That comfortability is what has broken society, where I would rather be right than try. I would rather continue my point of view than be willing to hear somebody else's. I would rather think I'm smart than be kind. And that's a real issue. That's like a real problem in my mind right now, because smart isn't enough. Smart doesn't mean anything anymore. AI exists. Everything that you could ever wonder is a fingertip away. Smart isn't enough. Where's the humanity? Where's the kindness? Where's the understanding? Where's the want to do better? Where's the striving for all? Not a small little group, not a little cell of people, but for everyone. I think that I've been sitting back and hoping that the smart people who view things the way I view it will do the things that I don't feel intelligent enough to do. And I think I'm starting to realize that smart isn't enough. That the people who I was betting on, I shouldn't be betting on. And then who do you bet on? Who do you believe in? Who is showing up with intelligence and with kindness? Who is leading with humanity? Who wants to hear the people's voices and what they have to say and wants to actually change and make the world a better place for them? And I don't know. I don't have that answer because I've been betting on the smart people. And I don't think smart's enough anymore. And now I don't know where to put my eggs because they sure as shit can't go in that basket. And what do you do with that?